Aloha and welcome. It's nice to be here with you for another live stream, live from Lemuria. Well, today, my friends, I want to talk about everyone's favorite topic. Everyone's favorite topic, and that is fear. Okay, I'm kidding. But before you click away, just dance with me for a couple of minutes. I think you'll find today's conversation interesting and helpful. So just play with me for a few minutes. Now, fears are everywhere. They're just a fundamental part of the human experience. And whether we realize it or not, fears are part of our daily experience. We have all sorts of synonyms and euphemisms for fears, but they are part of, I'm going to make a sweeping statement that probably 99.9% of humans deal with some kind of fearful thought or experience throughout any given day. But the kind of terms that we use, they're really interesting. We have dread, we have worries. We say that we're concerned, or we feel uneasy. I mean, if you go to a thesaurus, you'll find a couple of dozen really common synonyms for the basic concept of fear, which is we're afraid that something that's going to happen in the near, mid, or long term future, something is going to unfold and manifest in a way that we don't like, that's not going to be pleasant for us. So it's just a thought based on a negative assumption that something unpleasant is going to happen. But when you look at all the synonyms or other terms we use, they all come down to fear. Okay, so for the sake of today's conversation, I just want to talk about fears, knowing that it encompasses everything, including those small fears that you might call concerns to full-blown anxiety or panic. They're all in that same category of a thought that is a negative assumption about the future. And we spend so much time and energy in our lives. When you think about it, we spend so much time and energy dealing with and healing through our fears because they're just everywhere. But from a healing perspective, it's important to recognize those things and not just kind of get through the day, get through the day. It's important to take a step back and realize, why am I concerned about this? Why do I have anxiety? Why do I have that feeling in the pit of my stomach about this situation or this project? It is just part of daily life. It could be small things. We're afraid to make a phone call because we're not confident that it's going to turn out well. We're afraid to try something new, put ourselves out there, whether it's being on camera or going to a new art class or trying a new career, whatever it is. These are all fears, and they're just thoughts that come up in our experience. And usually they're thoughts that bubble up out of habit, that there's really no serious basis. It's just beliefs we've been carrying around or assumptions that we make. But it just becomes a habit that we automatically go to, okay, what can go wrong? What's the worst thing that can happen? And we tend to focus there. But just keep in mind, these fears are just thoughts, okay? Nothing more than that. They're just thoughts. So from a Lemurian point of view, when we look at the concept of healing fears, of moving through our fears to create more comfortable, satisfying, joyful, abundant life experiences, we have to think about what's the opposite of fear. And it's probably not what you expect, but the opposite of fear is love. It really is. Love, and again, this is from a Lemurian perspective, love is the basis of all creation. It is the energy, the force, the infinite wisdom that manifests everything in this universe, non-physically and physically. It is the force of creation. Love is when you talk about life force energy or prana, whatever terminology you give to the infinite source of all that is, it's love. Love is light. Love, light, synonyms. Um, it is the basis of all creation. And so it is the most powerful force in existence. So we can look at healing of anything, whether it's a physical condition in the body, healing through a relationship challenge or a financial situation, or healing through wanting to do something new and allowing, but just holding ourselves back. Whatever that experience is, it is a journey from fear to love. That's what healing is. All healing, whether you consider it a big healing, a small healing, this is the journey of healing, is that movement from fear to love, where you're moving from these flimsy thoughts about potentially negative outcomes to moving into and living with the force that creates everything in existence. I mean, this is a big deal. But I'm sharing this today because I want it from my heart. I really want you to look at these limiting negative thoughts in your life, these things that we call fears. I really would invite you to start looking at them as just not being such a big deal. Even if you've lived with the same thoughts and beliefs for decades, doesn't matter. Starting this moment, you can start to look at those and say, what am I so worried about? It's just a thought. How is this flimsy negative thought? What is this in comparison to the force that creates all life in the universe? There's no comparison. And it really is simply a matter of shifting our attention and starting to practice new thoughts, which become new beliefs and new assumptions. I mean, imagine this. How crazy would it be for you to start imagining things turning out well rather than stipulating or assuming the worst case scenario? What if you started assuming the best case scenario? It's just a thought. Wouldn't it feel better to start assuming that things are going to turn out for you, everything's going to work out well, and start developing a habit of those thoughts and developing and accepting those beliefs? It really is simply a choice, because you're just replacing thoughts that are really not working out for you. And the alternative is choosing new thoughts that are expansive, trusting, optimistic, that make you feel enthusiastic and eager about your life. That's what healing is. And I'm going to make an even bolder, broader statement that the entire experience of human evolution is the journey from fear to love. That's what it is. No matter how many generations come onto this planet, we incarnate, we go through our life experience, we return back home to source, and then we may decide to come back and try something else. No matter how many times we've been here, no matter how many generations have existed all over this planet, the human experience of evolution is the journey from fear to love. That's what it is. It's really simple. But it takes some practice to start thinking about life in the universe in a new and expansive way. Now, just to add one more piece to this discussion today, I'm calling it a discussion because as you're listening to me, you're having a conversation in your own head about this topic. So I can sense your energy. I understand the thoughts going through. I appreciate you playing along with me. So, this concept of love from a Lemurian perspective, again, almost everything I share with you is from an ancient Lemurian perspective or older elven perspective about life. So, when we look at love, it's easy to just to get lost in it and say, wow, it's such a big abstract concept. What is it really? Well, from a Lemurian point of view, here's how we can look at love in a more practical, day-to-day way. There's three components that interact to create our experience of love. And I'm describing this divine, infinite love, which is the basis of the universe. The first element or key is truth, and that simply refers to knowing what's true for you, not caring about what's true for anybody else on the planet, but really committing to knowing what's true for you, what's true in your own heart about your desires, your preferences, what you want in life, because you're the only one living in your life experience. You're the only one in your physical body and your personality. This is your life. You're the only one that really knows what's true for you. And so that journey of truth is to really focus in and accept what's true for you and ignore everybody else's opinion or experience. You can observe it, but it doesn't mean you have to accept it or match it. You get to choose what's true for you, and your heart always knows the truth. Now, the second component in this energy of love, and this is my favorite, it's the concept of trust. Trust is this just recurring huge theme in Lemurian philosophy, that you can trust the process of life. And that's really the most important element about healing. That once you acknowledge that you're moving from fear to love, that you're moving from an unwanted state to a more wanted and robust and satisfying state of living, along that journey, you have to trust. That's the only way. And oftentimes in workshops, I put this trust meter up on the board saying, where's your level of trust? Because your goal is to reach 100% trust, that you have no doubts that you can heal. You have no doubts that you can learn something. You have no doubts that you can try something new and it will work out and it will not be a disaster. Trust is huge. And that really is the journey of day by day, connecting with your truth and learning to trust the process of life. Trust that your higher self has your back all the time, that your higher self knows exactly what you want in life, what you want to heal, what you want to manifest, what you want to experience. Your higher self is there, is your biggest ally, calling you forward, saying, come on, it's all here. All the joy, all the love, all the money, all the satisfaction, all that fun stuff, even better stuff than you can imagine is this way. Come, let it unfold in your life. That's the journey of trust. Now, the third component from a Lemurian point of view is this concept of passion. And I'm not talking about passion from a romantic point of view or a religious point of view. This is passion for living life to the fullest. It's passion for never giving up, just always returning back to your truth. Once you reconnect with your truth, which is your higher self, by the way, you then do the journey and you trust as best as you can. Your goal being, I want to be able to trust life 100%. And you just have the passion to do the best that you can day by day and moment by moment. Human life was never meant to be continuous bliss. We know what continuous bliss is like. Continuous bliss is being non-physical. But we came to do this human journey so that we would have experiences. We would have some diversity and variety and things kind of bumping up against us. So we go, oh, look at this. I never thought about this. I never want to experience that again. I would rather experience this alternative. That's the human journey. But passion is what allows you to continue moving through day by day, no matter what's going on. Fears are going to come up, fine, no big deal. Opportunities are going to come up, do the best that you can to follow your heart and pursue those opportunities. So this idea of truth, trust, and passion, this is fundamental Lemurian philosophy, and that's behind this whole journey from fear to love. So remember, my friends, fears are just these flimsy, wispy thoughts. They're not real. Fears are just thought energy about something that you really don't want to experience, but for some reason you're focused on that as an outcome. And the journey of healing is letting those fears go and gradually, eventually developing new thoughts, new desires, new beliefs where things do turn out for you, that you can heal through anything, that you can change the state of any aspect of your life. You can do this. We're all the same. None of us have any more advantage than anyone else because it's just you in your physical incarnation, in your personality. You're the only you. No one else has any control over your ability to heal, to manifest, to do this journey from fear to love. So that's my share for today. I really appreciate you spending this time with me because without you watching these, this kind of information doesn't come forth. I don't get inspired to share these things. So I really appreciate you being here, whether you're here live with me on the stream or you're watching a recording somewhere. I really appreciate it. And after you've watched, I really would love to hear from you. Leave a note in the comment. You know, what do you think about these concepts that I shared today? Do they resonate with you? Are these helpful? Do you have any questions that follow on from these? So I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. And until next time, my friends, I send you my love and bright blessings from Lemuria. Aloha. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for being here. We'll see you next time.